Do you like robot mummies, puzzles and the end of the world? If the answer is yes, then Pyramids of Mars is the Doctor Who story for you. It's a crazy old bundle of stuff. The Doctor? He's awesome. He delivers some amazing lines like, "I'm not a human being, I walk in eternity," and "something is interfering with time and time is my business." The chemistry between Doctor and Sarah Jane is also some of the nicest in their tenure, both in the funny sense and the dramatic. It reminds me a little bit of Clara and the 12th in their first season together. Pyramids of Mars also has a strange balance of the apocalyptic and the subtle that's, well, kind of weird. But you know, this serial remains close to the hearts of many, and I totally get why. So I thought I'd stop what I was doing and take a closer look. The story begins with the Doctor having a bit of a rant about the fact that he has reached middle-agedness at 750 odd years, and perhaps his current job of wandering aimlessly in a blue box and acting as a part-time scientific advisor for UNIT is running out of shelf life. So begins a 4-part journey that has nothing to do with that. Instead, Sutekh. This horse-headed menace is getting ready to break from his ancient bonds and destroy the whole flipping universe. The Doctor returns to Earth with the full intention of helping out UNIT once again, but instead the TARDIS gets pulled all the way back to the year 1926? No, I'm kidding, it's 1911. This sinister mansion is actually the exact ground that the UNIT headquarters would eventually be built upon, after the original building was mysteriously burnt down. But more on that later. Foul play is afoot in this not-so-humble dwelling. The mansion is full of Egyptian items of interest, curated by Professor of Archaeology Marcus Scarman, who is seen having a bad encounter after meddling with an ancient monument brandishing the glowing eye of Horus. Yes, ancient Egyptian gods are the name of the game in this adventure, but if you spent your life thinking this was all the stuff of myth, then it turns out you are dead wrong. It was actually a galaxy-spanning battle centered around the planet Vesta Osiris. The wars of the gods entered Egyptian mythology, and the whole of Egyptian culture is based on the Osirian pattern. Humans got most of the facts right, but only just. The mansion is now under the custody of Ibrahim Namin, who isn't shy about showing his devotion to an otherworldly god of malevolent power. He and his forebearers have guarded the secret of the tomb for 1,000 years, and he's not the only perilous force at work. This sarcophagus is moving. Now that man is dead on the floor. I gotta tell you, this guy here, I love him. Not only is that headgear cool, but he's just a great villain. He's devious, short-tempered, full of dark charisma, and was excellently played by Peter Mayock, who also played a character in The Deadly Assassin. I'm very sad that he only lasts for one episode. He could have been so much more. It's his intention to resurrect the mighty and evil Sutekh, and in doing so he fires out some of the most badass organ music you've ever heard in the history of sound waves. Look at that. The music is so good in fact that the organ carries on playing when he walks away. A little shift in diegetics there. Alas, Namin's declaration of servitude to Sutekh is misguided, as there can be only one true servant. Well, thanks for your service, Namin. You will be missed, and I wish I made the whole video just about you, mate. It's Marcus Scarman. He's back. Look at him. Now there's a baddie, capable of taking the odd gunshot too. Still not as cool as Ibrahim. This now zombified professor is leading the operation to resurrect Sutekh from his prison, and this mansion and the grounds surrounding it is the base of operations. And if the severity of Sutekh's terrible reign is a little bit lost on you, then don't worry. The Doctor will explain it to you. Basically, Sutekh is the most powerful and dangerous creature in existence. He is the biggest threat to the planet and the known universe. He's just about the deadliest thing ever. So deadly in fact that the Doctor doesn't even see the funny side. He spends much of the episode deeply rattled by the very existence of Sutekh, which says a lot. Sutekh even actually succeeds in destroying the Earth, as confirmed when the Doctor and Sarah travel to their present-day world to find it a thunderous wasteland. Game on. You know, I can't help thinking that there should have been a more appropriate location for this epic battle than a country manor, and maybe that's why the experience in this adventure seems a little undermined at times. But regardless, we soldier on. This country landscape is now ground zero. There's even a deflection barrier stopping anyone escaping or entering. I love a good deflection barrier, me, and the more invisible they are, the better. Remember that one in the Demons? That was a great one. But for all of Scarman's evil chin flexing, the mischievous minion award goes to these robot mummies, which are actual metal skeletons wrapped in a special bandage that makes them impervious to damage. Think of them as the worst thing Skynet has ever designed. And they're also murdering swines to that guy. But I do like these monsters, I really do. They tick the scary box and you can kind of gather an intuitive sense of just how tough and robust they are. Except for this stupid one that gets caught in a bear trap. There you go, well done. I'd have figured that the gems on their backs were actually a weak point, and if this was a Resident Evil game, that would be the part that you'd shoot, but that never really comes into play. And their sped up walk is pretty creepy. I don't know why anybody thought this was a good idea. We've already seen strong evidence that a singular robot mummy is perfectly capable of strangling someone by himself, and I really can't see how this double team maneuver was necessary and what exactly it was they were trying to achieve. I mean, I figured the intent was to suffocate, but you can hear the guy screaming the entire time, so were they trying to break his neck? I just don't approve. Run behind them and aim for the gems, mate. Anyway, they're working on building a rocket, set to fly to Mars and destroy the power source of Sutekh's prison, thus releasing him right here on Earth. For 7,000 years, Sutekh has spent an eternity of darkness and impotence, his words not mine, underneath a pyramid, all at the hands of Horus, who along with 740 Asirans, defeated Sutekh and sealed him off from the universe, leaving him on Earth as well. Cheers for that. The Doctor launches a counter-offense, which he does by tinkering with the deflector shield and also by wrapping himself up in mummy bandages in order to infiltrate their ranks and plant a big bomb on the rocket. I'm guessing he got that shape by tucking his scarf. Yet to fully form the no guns policy seen in her later years, Sarah Jane shoots the blasting gelignite to no avail. Whoa. Oh, it's okay, it's just the Doctor. When it's clear that Sutekh has contained the explosion, the Doctor has no choice but to travel to the heart of Sutekh's lair and face the last of the Asirans head on. It also serves as an adequate distraction and boom. Oof, that looks painful. You know, there are some rocking screams and gargles and yells in this serial, really puts Zoe to shame. And Sutekh does indeed live up to his reputation, he really is an evil git. He is Sutekh the Destroyer, and where he treads he leaves nothing but dust and darkness. He's a very cool baddie. The vocals and the dialogue do him a great deal of credit. Though this is his one and only TV appearance, there is no end of written Doctor Who fiction all about him, set before and after the Pyramids of Mars. What a guy. Horrible, but cool. Sutekh takes control of the Doctor and makes him fly the TARDIS straight to the control centre on Mars. Look at them all in the TARDIS there, it just doesn't look right, does it? After landing on Mars, Scarman breaches the control room, should have been the mean, and the Doctor is strangled. But it's okay, folks. He has a respiratory bypass system, that's good to know. In hot pursuit of Scarman and his mummy friend, the Doctor and Sarah must avoid the traps set by Horus and solve a series of puzzles and riddles, better known by Sutekh as childish stratagems. And these include this thing to do with measurements where you have to press the right square to not explode, and the thing where one person lies and the other person tells the truth and you have to ask the person what the other person would say if they were asked that question. And it's made even trickier in this instance because how in the grey blazes do you even know which button the mummy is actually pointing to? The Doctor does however breeze through all of these. Unfortunately, Scarman is still the first to find the Eye of Horus, which in many senses is the culmination of his archaeological work as seen at the start of the story. Though I'm not sure the be careful what you wish for thing really applies here. He didn't deserve this, did he? He was just an archaeologist and now he's dead, poor chap. Flippin' joke. There is infighting between rival factions of mummies. It's kind of like the war between the Imperial Daleks and the Rebel Daleks, but better. Look at them go there. Sutekh is free, which is bad news, but by a margin of about 2 minutes, the Doctor rigs the TARDIS's time factor to the portal and catches Sutekh in a corridor of eternity, where he lives out another eon in solitude. I wonder what he got up to. Anyway, the corridor catches fire, the mansion burns down, and time realigns itself. Fun fact about this serial, all the characters die. Literally all of them, except those guys at the beginning, and of course the Doctor and Sarah, but they don't count. Other than that, it's a flippin' bloodbath. Still, rockin' soundtrack. Take the outlandishness of Pyramids of Mars and combine it with a great level of atmosphere and you have a really solid bit of Doctor Who history. And given that the stakes were so massive, I do find it appropriate that this particular mythology lived on in written form and not on TV. It was fun revisiting this episode, and I'm looking for other Doctor Who serials, and of course mysteries, don't forget about those, to take a deep dive into. Any suggestions? Sound off in the comments and don't forget to hit subscribe. Have a good one.